But let's move over into the operations portion, right? So we have a ticketing system. So we have a managed services that we provide for many organizations. And that managed services, companies will open up tickets with us. And our ticket is a SaaS-based ticketing system. And one of the things we take pride in is our response time to our clients. And so one of the things that we used to have one of our team leads doing is looking at all the tickets that I'm going to call stale or haven't had any updates in a while. And if they haven't been updated, and I crank down the threshold for this demo, but we're going to say in 5 days, because some of the things we work on might be somewhat complex. So 5 days is not necessarily a breach of anything for us if we're working on something, but let me pull up the. So this is an example copy that I made. So this is another RPA workflow that doesn't necessarily have AI, but has some decisions in it, right? So this is more of an intelligent workflow. And so what this does is it's going to go into our ticketing system, get a bunch of tickets, make sure that they're active, not on hold, all of the standard things that you'd expect. Then I got to do some transformation on the time zones because I want it in human readable format. So I can add in a days since last update field, right? Because that doesn't necessarily come natively out of the ticketing system. Then I'm going to filter it, and then I'm going to filter it by my teams. Based on what team the client belongs to, it's going to send an email to the team lead, or in this case, in this example, because it's demo, is to me. So, get a whole bunch of tickets. We're going to filter out the tickets, format the date, find out how many days it's been since the actions happened, and I've got an email. Now, one of the things I want, so tickets that have not been updated in 5 or more days for Ops Team C. If Frank is watching this is no reflection on you, Frank. This is cranked way down. We can see our client name, our ID summary, and then the date the day the ticket was last updated, right? So this helps us from an operational standpoint. And one of the things we'll talk about in the roundtable.
When are they supposed to give us the information?
What's that?
Was that a question? Or I think that may be back chat.
Back chat. So one of the things that I don't necessarily do in my production workflows, although it's useful to get that information, is just an email, right? We don't need any more emails. We want it to take action. We want it to do some work. And so one of the things that we're engineering for our ticketing system is then creating a task or a to-do for the engineer so that it pops on a calendar or create a calendar invite or something of that nature to take action. In this case, it's very much a monitoring skill or monitoring task that I've put together for this. But using an RPA tool, whether it's Power Automate or N8N or a self-hosted instance of N8N, UiPath, Make, Xavier, whatever, you can take those tedious business processes like, hey, go look at all the tickets on your team, figure out when the last one has been updated. They go into the ticketing system, they sort the different tickets by the last time it was updated. They reach out to the engineer, hey, can you go look at this ticket? We need to remove some of that noise from our organization to become really efficient and ensure that most of my engineers' time is spent doing engineer work, not administratively handling tickets, as an example. Onto the finance business workflow that we have. So there's a project that we're doing to automate using an AI workflow RPA tool, accounts payable, right? So, and I'm making some of this, the backstory up, but it paints a good demo, right? Imagine, if you will, you're a larger organization and you have 1 to 2 accounts payable people, and they get invoices all day for materials, for jobs that are going on constantly. And their job is to open the PDF and type in information into their accounting system, you know, Dynamics, AX, whatever, right? And so one of the jobs that we're doing is automating that ingestion, writing it to Fabric, right? So that it's now reportable, tracking it the whole time, trying to match it against already issued POs. Oh, they print every invoice? So, hey, Steve, you want to read off some of those questions?
Yeah, AP people like to print off every invoice because that is the way they've always done it. That is.
I feel that pain in my soul.
For the ticket example, what would stop someone from creating a workflow that auto updates tickets even if no work was done on it, so they never show up on the reports?
That's a great question. We have another workflow that looks at the ticket detail that's being entered and has this one we're using AI for, it's still in development, but making sure that the description of the work is a long enough description, a descriptive enough writing for us to pass, right? Because we want to ensure that a service to our clients, they're getting the best that they can get. And if we see something that says 3 hours research, that's getting flagged, right? So for the workflow, you could easily design a workflow to give it a bunch of intelligent things to update the ticket. However, I think the longevity of the ticket being open, if there's no work actually being done, could be problematic.
You can have AI evaluate the comment to determine whether it's a.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing. Yep. So I'm not going to evaluate the ticket. I'm going to have a chat engineered bot evaluate the ticket with some examples.